So the last part of what I want to talk about is integrating mindfulness into the world we all live in, into reality. Because a lot of people, teachers, books, stories, films will project this image of a Buddha life. One where you can just sit and be present and not worry and not stress and just meditate and breathe. But that's not a possibility for, I would even argue, the entire world. I don't think there's a single person in this world who is living the life of Buddha. And the reason I say that is I think that Buddha himself, as amazing as he might have been, is being used today as a sort of marketing tool, a way of getting you to try to enter this state that is impossible to enter in the lives that we all lead. So what I'm focused on and what our studio is focused on is bringing meditation, bringing mindfulness, bringing the breath to the everyday. And how do we do that? Because it seems hard. Okay, let's sit and breathe, and then we're very present. I don't want to work now, right? I'm feeling so good and present and meditative. Why do I want to serve people coffee? Why do I want to fix a car? Why do I want to trade stocks? The good life is just the life where you just can sit and meditate all day. But the reality is that we have to pay bills. We have relationships. We have friends. We have families. We have so much stuff in life that we do have to tend to. So really what we need is a way of integrating mindfulness into the everyday. And I would say two major things on that. One is when you enter a mindful life, it just starts to integrate itself. When you're engaging with people who are angry, who are upset, who raise your blood pressure, you don't get there with them. So you immediately stop the fire at its start. Oftentimes, especially in the business world, we have to deal with angry people, anxious people who will elevate your blood pressure. And if you're not living a mindful life, you will get there with them, and it will become an argument, it will be confrontational. It won't be good for anybody. And oftentimes, deals are broken, lawsuits are had. I mean, there's a lot of negative stuff which comes from negative interactions. Mindfulness and living a balanced life will allow you not to get to that elevated blood pressure, to stay balanced, and to bring that other person back down. And slowly you can do that. I've done that in my practice as an attorney. I mean, I've gotten into a lot of very heavy negotiations where after 10 minutes of me just maintaining this very calm demeanor, the other attorney on the phone starts to come down to my level. And then we can just talk man to man. Rather than through emotion and anger and all these other negative emotions, we're just talking logically. And when you're talking logically, you can both see each other's point of view and you can come up with a solution. So that's a very basic way of saying it. I mean, meditation just starts to integrate into life. But the other way is that it creates purpose. So when you're living a mindful life and breathing and you start to come into what you should be doing, what you want to be doing, you start to take impactful actions, positive actions. So I like to say that beauty, mindfulness, meditation is a good disease because it spreads. So if you can imagine, a non-mindful person goes into a gas station and there's a long line, and he's in a rush to get to work. He needs his gas and he needs his cigarettes. Doesn't matter. He's waiting in line, he's in a hurry, the register is having trouble with the first person in line, it's taking a long time. Then he gets to the register and he's angry and he yells at the guy and he has a really, really negative interaction with that person at the register. That person at the register is now having a bad day. And if you can imagine that poor person at the register, whose fault it's not, now has to deal with not just you, but a lot of people every single day like that. And by the end of the day, he's broken, he's tired. I should say he or she is broken and tired and sad because throughout the day they've had these negative interactions. And imagine that person. Imagine the effect you are having on that person. And imagine the cumulative effect that we have on other people by living non-mindful lives. Now, let's switch over to a person who has just done breathing for 15 minutes. He's in line, he's patient, he waits for the line to clear, he goes to the register, he says, "Can I get $20 of gas, please? And can I also get a kombucha?" You know, the guy at the register is going to almost have a breath of fresh air, like, oh, this is going to be an easy interaction. And then he'll engage with you in a really nice way. So let's say you give him $25 for a 24, something that costs $24.35. You get 65 cents in your hand. You walk outside and there's a homeless guy sitting there asking for change. You put the change in his hand and you smile and you walk away. You've now just changed, just by being a happy, present, mindful person, you've just changed two people's lives. Immediately, two people's lives, right there. Then imagine the effect that they have. That guy at the register with the next person in line, he won't start off angry. He'll start off happy, or at least happier. And then that interaction will be more positive than it otherwise would have been. Then the homeless guy sitting outside, instead of demanding money from the next person out of desperation, he might just say, "Sir, can I please have some money?" Because he already got a little bit, so he's not so desperate. And then the effect that that has on the next guy in line, and that next guy who walked out with change. They have both had more positive interactions than their interactions before. So if you can imagine, a mindful life spreads like a good disease. And the more people who are doing it, the more it spreads and the faster it spreads. So you might feel like just a single person in a world of a lot of people. But if you can start to take mindful, positive actions, it has an exponential effect. And then the person behind you in line might look at you and say, "You know what? I want to get to that place. I don't like the place I'm at right now." And then he might seek out mindfulness, breathing, yoga, meditation, things which help balance him or her. And then you start to get a world change. And that's why a lot of people will say the world changes with one person, with one man, with one woman. It really does. It really, really does. That's just the nature of energy. So anyway, that's how you integrate it into life. I can't give you specific ways of A, B, C, D, and E, how it will affect you, because we're all so different. We all live such different lives. But do trust that as you engage with a mindful life, it will have positive benefits, and you will figure out how to integrate it into your practice.